Now New Orleans has a choice. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app for your mobile device or listen at www.neworleanstalknetwork.com.
Hello, somebody. It's the host of Inside the Trenches podcast, Marlon Big Favorite. Did you know Small Sliders had an app?
Now New Orleans has a choice. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app for your mobile device or listen at www.neworleanstalknetwork.com.
Hello, somebody. It's the host of Inside the Trenches podcast, Marlon Big Favorite. Did you know Small Sliders had an app? You can go to your Google Play Store or your Apple Store right now, download the It's Inside the Trenches. It's your host, Marlon Big Favorite, and we live at Small Sliders. That's right, 1635 Barataria Boulevard in Marrero. Electrifying day, to say the least. 44-19, the New Orleans Saints came marching in. I'm talking about, when I say dominated the entire game, play by play, I built this brick by brick. Play by play. And we're definitely going to dive into it. And you feel free to call as well, 800-998-1003. Again, that number is 800-998-1003. This segment is brought to you guys by Small Sliders. Small Sliders, if you need something to eat, this is the best. If you need something to eat, this is the best treat. I made that up, but y'all definitely come slide through. They're definitely hiring right now. And, we're here every Monday from 6 to 8. If you guys are just tuning in, we had the Tim Rebo show, the first 30 minutes of the show, as Nickel State had a tough loss. But, hey, this team is going to continue to do their thing in the Southland Conference. And it seems like this other team here, the New Orleans Saints, are going to continue to do their thing right here in the NFC South because let me tell you something. Preseason predictions are called preseason predictions for a reason, if you ask me. And a lot of us in this business, in this world, had this team being towards the bottom tiers. Like, Atlanta did all of these great things in the offseason. Man, what about this Tampa team who went toe-for-toe with these in these playoffs games and, did their thing against Detroit. And then again, too, because they beat Detroit this weekend, so Tampa is interesting. But in 2 games, 91 points scored. You can't shy away from calling that just excellent offense. The execution was there. The team energy was there. The special teams was there. You guys may have heard the numbers all day, and that's totally fine. If you didn't, I can run them down to you. Very simple and sweet from a passing perspective for Derek Carr. He was 11 for 16, 240 yards. He averaged 15 yards a pass, the 2 touchdowns, the 1 interception. They did have one. He did get sacked one time, and it was a QBR of 99.4. Now, Dak Prescott's number, and listen, shouts out to all of my friends across the city. and all of the Cowboy haters across the city, yes, I am very thankful to be a part of the fabric of Louisiana. I'll never, ever turn my back on Louisiana. But when I was a kid, the Dallas Cowboys was rolling. So I just always said, Key, you remember, Key was a little baby, you remember? You know, and it was a very long time ago. By the time Key was a little baby, last time they were good. But one thing that the New Orleans Saints does have in common with the Dallas Cowboys is the 91 points in 2 games. Now, the last time Dallas did that was 1971, the last time they were able to accomplish that. Now, I kind of want to get back to, you know, we're going to dive into this a little more the next segment as well, because we're going to stick with the Saints. We're going to look at the schedule, the games to come, some key matchups now. And listen, I've been seeing and hearing from a lot of 06ers. Now, Kenzie, you know what an 06er is, huh? You know what an 06er is, huh? Okay, you know what an 06er is? Anybody want to tweet me at BigFade504? Y'all know what an 06er is? These are people who became Saints fans in the year of 2006. See, I know y'all kind of young right there, so y'all don't know about them. Well, it's a lot of folks who like the Saints, but they have to be honest with themselves and say, you know what? Man, I don't think we can go beat Dallas. I'm not sure about Kansas City. Y'all know who knew? Terry, you knew who knew it was up. You know exactly who knew it was up. It was a young cat who's cut from a very great cloth, right? He was a part of another great cloth of a coaching tree in Kyle Shanahan. I'm talking about the great Gary Kubiak's son, Clint Kubiak. Boy, I guarantee you, boy, he can get him a little something to eat, little bowl of gumbo in any of these little stores around here, or big stores around here. You know, some nice restaurants down here in Louisiana, including this one I'm at right now, Small Sliders. Shouts out. But, boy, he could probably, he come over here, I'll be like, hey, man, Rick, man, hey, I got Coach Kubiak coming over, man. Let me get him a biggie, you know what I'm saying, with a shake. You know what I'm talking about? Pretty sure Rick will approve of that. Yeah, no doubt. He's in that position, right? I think he's in a position to really be, and this doesn't sound fun, but a candidate is a bit early, how they call it, early predictions, but a candidate for one of these coaching jobs that will be available this offseason. Boy, it's going to be some chairs moved around here, right? But y'all call in the question of the day. What's up, big dog? Matter of fact, we look like we got father and son right here. The question of the day is, are the New Orleans Saints that good, or are the Dallas Cowboys just really that bad? That's the question. We'll have open mic here at Small Sliders, at BigFade504, at ESPN New Orleans, 100.3 FM, on the Instagram, the X. But, yeah, that's the question. Now, I'll have my answer next segment. And then we got so much to get into the show as well. We're going to talk a little LSU. Boy, they had a nail-biter this weekend, right? We're also going to get into a little bit of high school football. We'll be joined by Jared Boyd from Hash It Out, the Hash It Out show on Instagram. He's going to talk to us about some of the high school games he watched this weekend. But I'm excited. Now, former Saints player, former, how they call it, NFL baby, never played for the Cowboys, so I have no vested interest in the Cowboys outside of being a childhood friend, a fan. I have no friends. Well, you know, I would consider Clark from LSU a friend, Damone Clark. You know, he's a good buddy of mine. Go Tigers, right? Go Tigers. Go Tigers. Both of them say. Coach Miles, the Mad Hatter. That's like the last 3 LSU coaches. But, yes, definitely. 800-998-1003 is the phone number. Call us and chime in, jump in the conversation. And we would love to hear from you. Another tale of this game, and I know it was refreshing to the fans, because rightfully so in the fans' defense, the Saints didn't really practice here till like towards the end of training camp, so you didn't really get a chance to see this team. So it was a surprise for everybody. Look, Coach Dennis, man, coming through with the surprises for the city, right? But what I paid attention to this offseason was, okay, I saw the hire. I immediately went to watch some of those San Francisco games from last year. See, people forget, Tarek, that Christian McCaffrey won offensive MVP last year. Yeah, that was from a passing game coordinated, an offensive staff meeting, Clint Kubiak, Kyle Shanahan, you know? So we got the juice. So I can only imagine, man, put AK in a position that Christian McCaffrey's in. Let's use me and CL, to his defense too. Me and him talked about it. It appears that we have a call on the line. Who we got? Oh, the calling number, I'm sorry. I thought we had a caller. 800-998-1003. Again, that calling number is 800-998-1003 is our calling number. Just talking with our producers. I was like, hey, yeah, it's a calling, because sometimes we got to communicate that way from our LaRose office. But I think about that. I think about that San Francisco's offense and our players in those positions, right? You have, as I mentioned, Taysom Hill in the position that George Kittle is typically in. You have the receivers. I'm not taking anything from Deebo Samuel. Matter of fact, we were shooting around the world basketball at the Sports Academy out in Dallas this past summer. Shouts out to the homie BT Jordan, had me and the homie Drake and the crew out there, Young Tune. But he's not that big of a receiver. He's strong, more of a running back, but he got the hands, can do things in space, so on and so forth, right? And then you also have Brandon Ioka, who is your route runner. He runs some really nice routes, hence the reason they paid him, and according to Ghetto Gronk, gotcha. But the type of routes that he run, and the different options they had, we saw that against Dallas. Now, here's my argument. What I'll say about what I like to say, lifelong Dallas fan, right? Got family out there, which, by the way, they always, in their Saints black and gold, they was representing. They see me. Yeah, we out here. My sister and my brother. Yeah, ain't seeing them. I told you. God, what you thought? You thought that was I heard all of that yesterday. I'm like, hey, good game. I wouldn't betting against the Saints. I want my, this is a home team. I want them to do well, but it's there. You look at the numbers from an offensive standpoint, and it's there. Rashid, 4 receptions, 96 yards. He almost touches $1 in 4 touches. The distributing, right? Taysom Hill, he had 1 catch. Alvin Kamara, 2 catches. Chris Olave, 4 catches. And you look at the score and that's because they scored on every possession just about. They punted the ball 1 time in the 4th quarter. It was a great game. And then the defensive performance. See, Alontae Taylor, I like that matchup out there. They drafted well in the last few years at that position, right? Alontae Taylor, you have him covering a nickel, using him as a blitzer, moving around, right, as that nickel defender. In addition to him, you also have, Kool-Aid, McKinstry, right? You trust him enough. He's shown you enough in training camp and preseason to where you trust him to be that backside corner in the absence of Marshawn Lattimore, right? And then Paulson Debo had a nice interception in this game, along with what else they were saying? Kenzie, they were saying that, oh, man, Tyron's a little old, DeMario's a little old, Cam's a little old. These guys are aging backwards the way they playing. DeMario Davis, 3 solo tackles, involved in 8 tackles, and had a pass deflection that we saw that came in clean. He's covering the tight end down the field. He did it. And look, these guys did an excellent job. 800-998-1003, that's the number. We're up against the clock. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, though, we will touch bases on how well the defense played. We'll look at the same schedule moving forward. And in addition to that, I'm going to give my spiel, and I'm going to answer the question of the day, but it'll be around the entire day. If you're just tuning in to Inside the Trenches and you're riding home, getting ready for your, your Monday's calm down day as we getting it turned up Tuesday. The question is, are the Saints really that good? Or the Dallas Cowboys just that bad? Right, that's what so I bet somebody would call it. It's a combination of both, big dog. But nah, we're excited about that win. We're here at Small Sliders, baby. 1635 Barataria Boulevard in Marrero. Y'all be sure to come on through. Enjoy yourselves with us. We're having ourselves a grand time. Got the New Orleans Talk Network crew here. We'll be back, baby. It's Inside the Trenches on ESPN New Orleans.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a health.
Now New Orleans has a choice. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app for your mobile device or listen at www.neworleanstalknetwork.com.
Hello, somebody. It's the host of Inside the Trenches podcast, Marlon Big Favorite. Did you know Small Sliders had an app? You can go to your Google Play Store or your Apple Store right now, download the Small Sliders app in Marrero, and order your food right now. You want to get a number 2? Well, slide through. 1635 Barataria Boulevard in Marrero. Small Sliders, simple on purpose. Hello, somebody. It's your boy Marlon Big Favorite. And when I'm hungry, I like to make my way to Small Sliders. 1635 Barataria Boulevard, Marrero, Louisiana. Simple on purpose. When I tell you their burgers are delicious, have some great sauce on them, I'm telling you, when you're just hungry and just need to grab a quick bite, this is the perfect place for you. Small Sliders. The customer service is nice. It's somewhere you can bring the family, hang out and chill, enjoy the atmosphere. Now I'm a big boy, so when I like to take my Small Sliders, I like to get the biggest smalls. Double patties, bacon, cheese, you name it. Just a delicious burger. And I like to top it off with my favorite, the cookies and cream milkshake. There are 3 delicious flavors: milkshake, chocolate, vanilla, and cookies and cream. Small Sliders. Simple on purpose. Y'all come on and slide through, baby. And let them know that you heard about them on Inside the Trenches with your boy Marlon Big Favorite. Watch out there now.
Step Construction is here for you with a brand new offer. We now provide affordable storage sheds. Stop wasting your money on overpriced storage units and portable containers. Step Construction can provide you with a custom shed that will fit your budget and storage needs. So contact Step Construction today at 504
Barataria Boulevard in Montero. We got the New Orleans Talk Network streaming live out here. And of course, you guys can go to ESPN1003.com and check us out on demand. If you miss any of these, we got the YouTube clips on Beam up there. You can check out the show. Yeah, yes, indeed. And if the reason you're not over here at Small Sliders is because you don't have a vehicle. You just don't have no wheels. Nothing popping, right? You need to holler at my man Alberto at Montero Motors, 1512 North Causeway Boulevard, right there in Metairie, Louisiana. You know, the reason you don't have a car because, I mean, it's real right now, right? Inflation is at an ultimate high. You know, you may not, you're trying to decide, do you just catch the bus to get to work or do you buy a car and, you know, risk being in that situation? If that's the deal, hit my man Alberto up and he would definitely get you in a nice used vehicle at a reasonable price for you to get home. So, yes, the question of the day is, are the Saints that good? Or the Dallas Cowboys that bad? And it appears that we have a caller on the Small Sliders hotline in Marrero. Who we got, baby?
Oh, man, you know who it is. You got Joel on here.
Oh, we got my man Joel from Godwyn Realty in the building. What's good, Joel?
Oh, man, yeah, and I'm sorry I can't be able to make it over there, but right now I got my boy doing soccer practice. But I am doing great. I'm staying out of this weather. It's not raining anymore, thank the Lord. But how are you doing?
Man, same here. Thanking the Lord that it's not raining anymore. I was a little worried because I'm like, it's raining. We got to set up all this equipment out here at Small Sliders. I'm like, we have to figure this out. And I'm feeling pretty good, man. So you say y'all out there at soccer practice, man. So little Joe doing this thing, getting that footwork down pat, huh?
He's like, yeah, man. Doing it at 5 years old, man. Starting him early. It's crazy because he's getting to know what we used to, man. Like, if it ain't lightning, you playing right now. And so he playing through this rain and everything. It's a first kind of thing for him. So he's kind of playing around a little bit. But so I gotta get on him a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good. Well, I tell you one thing, man. Those New Orleans Saints definitely got up on them Cowboys. And Jerry's world on yesterday. So, Joel, I'll ask you this. This is a question we have for our listeners. The question of this evening is, are the New Orleans Saints that good? Like, are the Saints really that good, or are the Cowboys that bad? That's the question of the day we have here on ESPN.
You know, that is a great question, and I'm glad you asked that because when we were going up to this game, I had that very same question in my mind because obviously we beat the mess out of the Panthers and everything, and even though I said to myself, I said, hey, it doesn't matter that it's the Panthers, it's an NFL team, so you can still beat a team. But beating a team that bad, maybe it was just a one-time off, so who knows. But, no, looking at what happened this event, what did we see? Every single person, every single media talking about this game going up into this, talking about how, like, who is it, Michael Trahan or Michael Turner was talking about how the Cowboys was going to get, like, 3 to 4 sacks on the Saints end. Everybody else was choosing the Cowboys because, man, they had one of the top 5 defenses last year. And then Dak Prescott got an amazing contract. So they had everything going right there for them. So everybody wrote off the Saints and said, yep, looks like the Cowboys are going to take it home. They're going to get this win. They're going to get stomped, but Dak Prescott and his $240 million contract that he just signed might seem to Jerry as if that wasn't the best decision at all. And so to answer your question, no, that is the Saints, to answer your question, the Saints is that good. Like, everybody is not recognizing, and it's going to take a while, but everybody needs to recognize that with this new offense that the Saints are doing, they have now found the perfect team. And now we just got to see what's going to happen if injuries are going to play a factor.
Well, he's Joel, my co-host, who's joining me on the Small Sliders Hotline. And Joel basically said what most of you are probably thinking, the Saints are that good. They're real news. And, Joel, thanks for breaking the ice for me. I did tell our listeners that I was going to reveal my answer. And most of them, Fave, you're a Cowboys fan. You're going to say, man, the Cowboys just poo right now. And just, man, no. I think the Dallas Cowboys is a 10 to 12 team winning team. They're going to win 10 to 12 games this year. This is just one of the games that they lost.
Absolutely.
You know, they play the Ravens. The Ravens don't look that hot. You know, they get into some division play. Steelers might pose a threat. The Lions, they lost to Tampa. Tampa's a team we definitely have to look at. 49ers just lost to the Vikings. They lost to, Sam Darnold, if I'm not mistaken. So their schedule isn't extremely hard. I think they may have maybe 3 or 4 more L's in their L column this football season. But the New Orleans Saints are really that good. I'm not going to discredit the Saints and their ability to build over the last 2 or 3 years. A lot of folks question going into this game, Joe, including me. I didn't – listen – on my little fan dude, I'm going to be honest with all of my listeners. This wasn't an emotional pick at all. I was just looking at it like everybody else was looking at it. I picked the Cowboys in the spread because I felt like the Saints were a good team, but I knew that the Panthers were that bad. Hence the reason they just benched Bryce Young, and now Andy Dalton is now taking over at the starter. But no, this offense is a oiled machine, and it is rolling right now. and here's for our folks listening right now, here's how the offense is clicking. Joel is a former linebacker. I'm a former defensive tackle. When you have that late of a motion happen, and then on your second motion, that player is still in motion, when you say hut, it is very hard to defend. So one of those safeties have to respect the run. That has to happen a lot of times. So that's the reason why you saw the Cowboys' safety. I forget who it was. Was it Lewis? It was Lewis playing nickel. I forget who it was, but Rasheed was able to peel the top off the bottle of that route. They were in a form of cover too. But again, that threat, that pre-snap movement is getting them. Now, the offense looked really good. I don't want to take away from the offense, but I don't want to not give that Saints defense all the credit that they deserve. Because here's the thing. Dallas is who they are. Dallas beat the Browns 33-17, right? And then the Browns go out there this week and they get a win against the Jacksonville Jaguars 18-13.
Right.
I'm not saying that the Browns are a really, really good NFL team. I just feel like they are a capable team. They have one of the best edge rushers in Myles Garrett. They have all of the proper weapons. So I do. That's why I look at it like that. But now that you take a look at this Saints team moving forward, the way that defense and that offense is playing right now, it's just a matter of them continuing to get that chemistry rolling, Joe.
Well, dude, and it's not even – here's the crazy thing. This thing will shock you because a lot of people probably disagree with me, but you got to really look into it because this is the player that I've been really watching the most because for him, he came off of obviously being injured, and the player I'm talking about is Chase Young. And this is something that I want people to start watching. And I hope Chase Young listens to this because he needs to learn something. Because look at what happened this game. Granderson got 2 sacks this time. So not Alontae Taylor. We finally getting some defensive linemen getting sacks now. And the reason why Granderson got one of his sacks and the other sack, but the first sack that he got is because he's not just bull rushing. He's actually using moves. And, I mean, Marlon, you can attest to this and about how effective a good spin move when you have an offensive lineman or when an offensive lineman feels like you've overcommitted and you spin on them, and then now they're just completely open. And so, but that's not what you're seeing from Chase Young. You're either seeing him trying to bull rush the person and just overpowering them, which, I mean, he could definitely do, but some of these tackles, you're not going to do that. And then a lot of other times, he's trying to beat them on the edge, and what the tackle is just going to do is they're just going to take you. They're just going to let you go and keep going and then take you out of the play completely. And so what Chase Young needs to start working on, and Cam Jordan, being a vet, and Granderson need to work on with him, is that when he has that tackle believe that he is overcommitted, he hits him with the spin. And that dude, Chase Young, will get so many sacks if he starts doing that. And then, dude, just think about that. When you not only have Granderson, you have Cam Jordan, but now you have Chase Young that is on those people constantly, just beating out the tackles. Dude, our defense would be so unstoppable, it would be crazy.
You're absolutely right, Joe. He's Joe Picolo of Godwyn Realty. Y'all be sure to make sure y'all holler at Joe at GodwynRealty.com. But I agree with you. He's a young NFL player. He definitely has room for improvement, and I think we will continue to see improvement out of Chase Young. Well, that does it, y'all. The New Orleans Saints wins 44-19. They go out to Jerry's World and they make it happen in a very handsome fashion. When we get back in our next hour, baby, look at that, the time fly. You better clip his wings. When we get back in our next hour, we're going to talk about this LSU South Carolina, South Carolina game. I won't say Southern Cal. That didn't already happen. LSU, South Carolina. I'm gonna look at a couple of plays that might have got things rougher for them. It's Inside the Trenches, baby, on ESPN New Orleans.
Is knee pain keeping you from living your best life?
Now New Orleans has a choice. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app for your mobile device or listen at www.neworleanstalknetwork.com.
Hello, somebody. It's the host of Inside the Trenches podcast, Marlon Big Favorite. Did you know Small Sliders had an app? You can go to your Google Play Store or your Apple Store right now, download the Small Sliders app in Marrero, and order your food right now. You want to get a number 2? Well, slide through. 1635 Barataria Boulevard in Marrero. Small Sliders. Simple on purpose. Hello, somebody. It's your boy Marlon Big Favorite. And when I'm hungry, I like to make my way to Small Sliders. 1635 Barataria Boulevard, Marrero, Louisiana. Simple on purpose. When I tell you their burgers are delicious, has some great sauce on them, I'm telling you, when you're just hungry and just need to grab a quick bite, this is the perfect place for you. Small Sliders. The customer service is nice. It's somewhere you can bring the family, hang out and chill, enjoy the atmosphere. Now, I'm a big boy, so when I like to take my Small Sliders, I like to get the biggest smalls. Double patties, bacon, cheese, you name it. Just a delicious burger. And I like to top it off with my favorite, the cookies and cream milkshake. There are 3 delicious flavors: milkshake, chocolate, vanilla, and cookies and cream. Small Sliders. Simple on purpose. Y'all come on and slide through, baby. And let them know that you heard about them on Inside the Trenches with your boy Marlon Big Favorite. Watch out there now.
Step Construction is here for you with a brand new offer. We now provide affordable storage sheds. Stop wasting your money on overpriced storage units and portable containers. Step Construction can provide you with a custom shed that will fit your budget and storage needs. So contact Step Construction today at 504-340-5809 for your own personal quote. Let us help you take the next step at Step Construction.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
Are you looking for your dream home? Well, if that's the case, you need to contact Joe Picolo at Godwyn Realty, right here in New Orleans. I think the Saints are really that good. I think that's what it is. It's not a situation of Dallas being bad. I do think the Dallas Cowboys is a team, in my opinion, that could go 12 wins, 11 wins. I don't know, maybe 11-6. Who knows? I don't know. Hey, they could be a trash team. You just never know. But the Saints are really good. Like all jokes aside, I know we clowned a lot today about, oh, man, the Cowboys trash, the Cowgirls, all my homeboys call me, Eric to call me, Frank, both of the Franks to call. Everybody hit me up, man. My Facebook, Instagram, I'm like, boy. But like Mario said earlier, him and Casey, when I was on the pregame, they was like, man, most of the Cowboys fans wasn't really mad like the Atlanta fans usually be, or how the Phillies fans might be this weekend. So let's start there before we jump into the Tigers, y'all. And again, the number is 800-998-1003. Feel free to call in and chime in on the conversation. The question is, are the New Orleans Saints really that good, or are the Dallas Cowboys that bad? We have a caller on the Small Sliders hotline.
Okay.
Hello, somebody. Welcome to Inside the Trenches. Who do we have a pleasure talking to? Kind of going in and out
Hello?
there. Yeah, I can hear you.
You can hear me now? How you doing, Marlon?
What's good? All right, who we got?
We got that boy Fred Fanview podcast.
That boy Fred from the Fanview. Oh, boy, Fred was he was in rare form this weekend, taking pictures all over he don't want to. So Fred, you would probably be the perfect candidate to answer this question. Are the New Orleans Saints that good, or the Dallas Cowboys that bad?
The New Orleans Saints are that good.
Yep.
2 consecutive weeks, 40-plus points. We talking about over 14 possessions that resulted in 4. And against Dallas, the first 6 possessions resulted in a touchdown. So, yes, the Saints are that good. The offensive coordinator was the main difference in his offense and the main difference in his team. And we saw that these first 2 games. They're for real.
They are. Yeah, go ahead, Fred.
Well, first of all, how about them Cowboys, Paul? We know that's your favorite.
I can talk about it, and we can talk about it. I don't mind talking about it. And listen, as much as we talked about how high-powered that Saints offense looked, and they did, it looked immaculate out there. Let's not underplay how good the offense looked out there. But if you look at if the offense scoring 7 points and we scoring 3 points over there for Dallas, I mean 7 is greater than 3. So you got to tilt your hat to Fred. You got to tilt your hat to the Saints defense in the red zone, right?
Well, yes. Well, not just that, but let's just talk about the 2 minutes. I mean, they got the interception by Paulson Adebo before half, when Dallas looked like they were trying to make the run at some point in time, when the game was between 28 to believe 16 or so, and Paulson Adebo gets that big time interception to take it down. The Saints goes out and Derek Carr has that quarterback sneak for a touchdown. To me, that was one of the most game-changing momentum plays of the game, where it allowed the Saints to kind of push that lead going into halftime away far enough to where Dallas had to do too much in the second half to try to recover.
Yeah, Fred, I agree with
points
you.
In the first half,
yeah.
a lot.
91 points in 2 games. Hey, you know Dallas had a team like that, huh?
Anybody would have said that.
You knew that, huh, Fred?
Anybody would have said that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you knew that, huh? You knew Dallas had a team that scored 91 points in
if they won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, you know what year that was?
I don't know what year it was, but I know they won a Super Bowl that year. They had those points.
I can't say this. We weren't born. It was 1971. 1971. 1970-something. 1970-something.
Now, here's another question. The other team that also did that was the 2009 Saints.
That's right.
And if I recall correctly, they won a Super Bowl too.
Yeah, hey, there's something that
is it coincidence or is it fate?
And you were here when Cam Jordan sat on this show, and he was like, "Man, we're going to the Super Bowl, and it's in the city too." So, and I said that right here at Small Sliders during the preseason. I'm like, when you put that type of energy into the atmosphere, it can potentially come back that way. So you're speaking life into your quarterback, the coaching staff, and this is what I was saying too, Fred. It's like those Saints defenders are aging backwards, right? Cam Jordan playing like he in his early 20s. DeMario Davis, same thing. Look at Tyron. Tyron averages 4 interceptions a year.
Mm-hmm. But Tyron Matthew had a turnover in yesterday's game against the Cowboys, and he had a turnover against the Panthers. He had a fumble that he called. So we're talking about the defense is not only getting stops, but their greatest turnover. And getting sacks and getting quarterback pressures at timely fashion. So that defense is still showing that they can still play at a high level. But, I mean, the tail of the tape is the offense. The offense just was not able to match the defense output last year. But it's the complete opposite this year. The defense is still looking like a top 10 defense. But this offense is playing at the highest level we've seen it since year 3. And that's why a lot of the jitters, a lot of Saints fans, including myself, are thinking not just playoffs, but Super Bowl.
If y'all just tuned in to Inside the Trenches, you're listening to that boy Fred of the Fan View Podcast. Y'all be sure to check them out right here on the New Orleans Talk Network. Great content, excellent interviews. I checked out y'all's show with my bro Corey Webster. I thought that was good. That's another guy who won a handful of Super Bowls, right? So, and speaking of Super Bowl champions, we will run the interview. Me and CL, we caught up with Charles Haley, Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champion, gold jacket guy, man. We chopped it up with him. He had his foundation. They had a golf tournament and some things this weekend. So if y'all listening, next segment, y'all tune in for that one. But Fred, I want to take a look here. Got a couple more minutes in this segment. Now that we've seen these two handsome wins, right? The Panthers, we can't really judge that much because I judged it. It's still a division opponent. So they're going to play you their best regardless. I don't care how trash they are. You put up 47 points, and then you come back against a Cowboys team who beat Cleveland handsome, 33-17 or something like that. Cleveland goes out there and beat Jacksonville. So they're not like a dog trash team. Got a good defense, got running game, got receivers, right? But at the end of the day, when you look at this Saints schedule, let's say I was talking with my boy Sheldon over at Lamar Key Crescent City earlier. He's actually going to call in here later on the show too and chime in on the LSU game. But you have the Eagles coming up, the Falcons coming up, the Chiefs, the Bucks. When you look at these next few games, because I'm just glancing at the whole schedule, Fred, before you give me your take on that last piece. I'm glancing at the whole schedule. Now that this team is playing like that, the only real threats I see in the NFL is Houston. I would say Philly, which we're going to see what's happening with that. I would still say Dallas in the playoffs. That team, again, this is still early. If you want to get these wins in, you want to do them early, right? And I'm going to probably stay around them. I'm leaving San Francisco, the Lions, and Kansas City out on purpose because of right now the amount of points the Saints are scoring. Like Kansas City barely beat a struggling Cincinnati team. I definitely look at that too. But, who do you think out of those teams in the next few weeks that pose a real threat?
Obviously, the teams that pose a threat, to be honest with you, the Buccaneers and the Eagles. If you look at the next 4 games, the thing that sticks out the most is that 3 of those 4 are NFC teams, which that's what matters, right? If you're looking at the Saints, it's about how many NFC wins they can get. The Chiefs are in the AFC, so you'll see them once, but that's not a road to the Super Bowl situation. Does that make sense? Yeah. So the Philadelphia Eagles, the Atlanta Falcons, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are playing lights-out football on both sides of the football. The Saints. They're just not scoring as many points. But Baker Mayfield has opened up a lot of people's eyes. And right now, after 2 weeks, you got to say he's playing like a top 10 QB. So that Buccaneers matchup is one to look forward to. But the Eagles coming up, the Saints don't have to duplicate another 40-point performance, but they still got to show consistency on offense. I think coming into the season, obviously, myself included, Trevor Penning was a big question mark. We had question marks on O-line. Trevor Penning went from first-round bust to he's an all-pro mode.
And I like the way that they're helping him out. It's that boy.
O-line has looked consistent.
Yeah, I like the way they help him out. It's that boy Fred from FanView Podcast. I'm sorry, what you said, Fred?
But it's the biggest matchup is the Bucs and the Eagles. If they can win those 2 games, then the Saints they're definitely the favorite, not just to be the top seed in the NFC, but to probably get out of the NFC.
No doubt. Well, he's Fred, that boy Fred from the FanView Podcast. Y'all make sure y'all check him out. Fred will be chiming in weekly here on Inside the Trenches when we catch that boy. I know he out there doing his thing, working hard. Fred, man, thank you so much for calling in the show, big dog.
No problem.
Well, it's Inside the Trenches, baby. We're live here at Small Sliders, 1635 Barataria Boulevard in Marrero. Y'all don't go anywhere. When we come back, we got an exclusive interview with Charles Haley, me and that boy CL. It's Inside the Trenches on ESPN New Orleans.
Hi.
Now New Orleans has a choice. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app for your mobile device or listen at www.neworleanstalknetwork.com.
Hello, somebody. It's the host of Inside the Trenches podcast, Marlon Big Favorite. Did you know Small Sliders had an app? You can go to your Google Play Store or your Apple Store right now, download the Small Sliders app in Marrero, and order your food right now. You want to get a number 2? Well, slide through. 1635 Barataria Boulevard in Marrero. Small Sliders, simple on purpose. Hello, somebody. It's your boy Marlon, Big Favorite. And when I'm hungry, I like to make my way to Small Sliders. 1635 Barataria Boulevard, Marrero, Louisiana. Simple on purpose. When I tell you their burgers are delicious, has some great sauce on them, I'm telling you, when you're just hungry and just need to grab a quick bite, this is the perfect place for you. Small Sliders. The customer service is nice. It's somewhere you can bring the family, hang out and chill, enjoy the atmosphere. Now I'm a big boy, so when I like to take my Small Sliders, I like to get the biggest smalls. Double patties, bacon, cheese, you name it. Just a delicious burger. And I like to top it off with my favorite, the cookies and cream milkshake. There are 3 delicious flavors: milkshake, chocolate, vanilla, and cookies and cream. Small Sliders. Simple on purpose. Y'all come on and slide through, baby. And let them know that you heard about them on Inside the Trenches with your boy Marlon Big Favorite. Watch out there now.
Step Construction is here for you with a brand new offer. We now provide affordable storage sheds. Stop wasting your money on overpriced storage units and portable containers. Step Construction can provide you with a custom shed that will fit your budget and storage needs. So contact Step Construction today at 504-340-5809 for your own personal quote. Let us help you take the next step at Step Construction.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com.
Small Sliders, baby. That's right. 1635 Barataria Boulevard in Marrero. We had some technical difficulties with the Charles Haley interview. We'll try to get that together for the next one. If we don't get a chance to get to that, you can definitely go to the New Orleans Talk Network's YouTube. We'll have that up later on, but we do plan on getting that together. We're just getting some things together in La Rose. Well, one thing I did promise you guys this summer, that this football season we're going to keep y'all in tune with the high school football games. You know, every so often I have a chance to stop in on the sidelines and check out a few games and, you know, do my thing as far as watching the players to have something to talk about when we come back on the show. And most of these games that I go to, I bump into these two guys, my man VK Jones and my man Jared Boyd of the Hash It Out show. Excuse me, on Instagram. Y'all be sure to follow them. Listen, really good content. Cool story. If y'all been following Inside the Trenches for a while, I've mentioned this before, but my very first interview that I ever had was with VK Jones back at Xavier University. It was at a basketball game. I just signed with LSU, and he did an exclusive interview with me. So that has always been a blessing. We'll get them here mic'd up here shortly, but I just want to talk to you guys about what to expect here in this segment. So spoke with my man Jared, and he said that they went to the Kennedy Warren Easton game. Definitely want to see the recap of that one. Shaw came off a very tough loss against Edna Carr, so they took on West Jeff. Definitely had to get the recap for that one as well. And we have a couple of players at a few of these schools that I just mentioned, but even out in Destrehan, my man Braylon Montero, he's out there as well. Destrehan took on Bonneville. So, man, Jared, VK, man, welcome to the show, fellas.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
Hold on 1 second. Yep. Yeah, man. So, appreciate you once again for coming on, bro.
Oh, definitely, man. Anytime.
So let's start. And VK, we'll get you here situated, Charlotte. Let's start with Kennedy versus Warren Easton. That game, two teams. I want to say that's Coach L. Page over there at Kennedy has turned that program around. What are some things that stood out in that game to you, Jared?
Well, number one, it was the way they hopped on Warren Easton off the get-go, going to a 20-0 lead, and that was shocking to me. I wasn't expecting that against a Warren Easton team that's a perennial power. So Kennedy jumped on them early, took control of the game fully. That was shocking to me. And to also, for Kennedy, their wide receivers in Kingston Jones and James Evans, that's two of their big-time playmakers. To get them involved early and to get to jump out on Warren Easton that early shows the type of playmaking skills that they have at quarterback and wide receiver also. Also, defensively, Kennedy flies to the ball very fast. They make stops immediately. So it's hard to throw on them. It's hard to run on them. They are very good and very sound defensively.
Definitely. Now, when you think of the skill set of the guys at Kennedy, VK, are there any, like, 5-star recruits, 4-star recruits, or any guys committed to any big-time schools?
Well, right now, you can definitely say in itself, I don't know about 5-star. I can say the closest thing we see to a 5-star out there is Kingston Jones. The way he is very, very fast on the field, he runs about at least a 4.4, 4.5 in the 40, and he's like 6'2 and a half, about 210, 215, and he can really, really go. James Evans is really emerging more of a full star than anything else because he can really do it all. He can catch the ball, he can run the ball, make plays. He's really a playmaker, and to me, that was really our big-time player of the game when we was there on Friday night because he had 3 touchdowns, all involving himself in the first quarter, and he had almost a total of about 275 all-purpose yards. So, and he had a big-time punt return to basically help Kennedy put the game away. So, he's really a big play man. He's like a rising 4-star. The closest thing to 5 stars, Kingston Jones. Amani Darrensburg is really coming up as a quarterback, getting better and better. The experience from last year has really helped him tremendously, and he's rising as a 3-star, trying to get to a 4, but he's rising. But the one person I can say is definitely a 4-star, and he's not just a receiver, he's a kicker, and that is Nahun Leyland. Nahun Leyland is a 3 to 4 year starter at Kennedy. And first of all, like, they just put him at receiver last year. He's a kicker. He's a natural kicker, and his biggest kick in his career, he made a 47-yard field goal. So he's very, very consistent as a kicker, and I think a lot of colleges are looking at him to be a kicker somewhat, even in the Division I colleges.
If y'all are just tuning in to Inside the Trenches right here on ESPN New Orleans, we're joined by the crew from the Hash It Out show, baby. That's right, my man Jared and VK Jones. Y'all be sure to follow them. They do weekly, every Tuesday, you guys?
Tuesday and Wednesday
nights.
Yes.
Tuesday and Wednesday nights. They have guests coming on. And you guys have a third crew member, right?
Oh, yeah, we got George Peppers, who also works with CrescentCitySports.com. He's our third member.
Okay, definitely. So shouts out to George. Let's jump straight into it, man. Both of these teams are near and dear to my heart. That's West Jeff and Shaw. What was the final score to that one, and how did that game go, Jared?
Final score was 49-0. Archbishop Shaw defeated West Jeff. Yes. I'm sorry, my friend. I'm very sorry. But I'm going to tell you this. After the first quarter, it was just 7-0 Shaw. West Jeff was able to run the ball on Shaw early in the game, but then a couple turnovers for West Jeff, and that did them in. Shaw capitalized on those opportunities, able to run the ball with Jasper Parker. Mason Wilson, the quarterback, able to connect on a few passes to Jacob Washington, their stud wide receiver, and to Gavin Richard, their other wide receiver. So once those turnovers happened, that did West Jeff in, and Shaw pretty much found their rhythm and was able to win that game 49-0.
Shaw now 1-1, West Jeff 1-2. Both teams have to continue their district play and try to improve. This was definitely room for improvement for West Jeff, but for Coach Hank, this is a non-district game, but he had to get back into the swing of things after that call game. It's good to hear Jasper is doing exceptionally well. I know early on in the jamboree and the scrimmage, those guys were getting some bumps and bruises. But I'm happy to hear that everything is going fine with them. And that game was at West Jeff, or was it at Shaw?
It was at Shaw.
It was at Shaw, and actually, West Jefferson is 0-2. They lost to Franklin Parish 51-0 at home.
Man.
So it's a lot of work to do, especially for the new head coach. And he's really trying to work hard to get them there. He's a former St. Augustine Purple Knight, and also he used to play for East Mississippi. He was part of the Last Chance UCAS and everything. So he's trying to. He was an assistant last year, but he's really trying to get West Jeff there. But I know he has a lot of work to do. But I know he's going to do his best to try to get this West Jeff program back on track.
I hope so, because, I mean, West Jeff, especially with – I'm just taking it back when Helen Cox first came and became a high school, that pulled away a lot from the West Jeff players.
Yes. Right.
Because when we got to West Jeff, when me and Coach Hank got back to West Jeff in the early 2000s, man, you had guys like Broderick Cole. I mean, you had players like, man, rest in peace to my brother Derek Singleton Smurf, you know, my homie Naughty. We had guys that would hop in the rotation, my homie Che. Fat went to Shaw with me, so you know he knew Hank, and it was just really the camaraderie on the team and how things was able to formulate, and it's good to see that you know both teams are trying to bounce back. I mean, of course, Coach Hank has a great opportunity to make some noise in the playoffs and do his thing. Speaking of that, VK,
yes, sir.
When you look at this Shaw team, right? Both of you guys were on the sideline at that call game, and you look at Shaw, they beat West Jeff pretty bad. Do you think this Shaw team, could make some noise in the playoffs? I know they don't have a lot of depth on it, but they have some skilled players and some guys up front.
Yes, I think Archbishop Shaw they're a really good team. I know they're playing tough schedule early, and they need it for them to get better and better. I think the defensive side is the one side that needs a little work more than anything else. I think they did a better job against West Jefferson more than anything else. Offensively, they will get it together. They're very good offense. They return a whole lot of experience on the line, also with the quarterback and running back. You know, you're gonna look for Mason and also Jacob and also the running back as well. They're gonna get it together. Their offense, they're capable of scoring anytime. So once they get that together, and the defense can be bend but don't break, but at the same time get some stops, they're gonna be a dangerous team. And I expect Shaw to really, really go deep, and hopefully it might be their year to get to the Dome.
Man, one of the coolest coaches I know, man, in the city is my homie Marcus Scott. That's how I got my first high school coaching job, which later catapulted into Concord Sports Pros, and now I'm able to do sports consultation. But I came on at West Jeff coaching staff. Coach Ryan Manally, who's now at Jesuit now, he was at just got the Dillasell job. He hired me as a D coordinator because he saw me work with Coach Scott. Somebody who's definitely turned this program around in the right direction. They took on Bonneville. Man, Jared, how that game was, man, desperate. I know my man Montero over there. We got Mike Banks over there at Shaw, a couple other guys, my man Omar Johnson and a couple more players. But I know Braylon's over there at Destrehan. They got some players up front. Man, how that matchup was against Bonneville.
So I'm gonna start off with Bonneville. Bonneville was not scared. They came to play. They fought every play. When I tell you it was 14-0 at halftime, most people wouldn't believe me.
Come on.
That's right. It was 14-0. When they had the ball, they made sure to keep Destrehan's offense on the sideline. The first quarter, they had a 9-minute drive. And then they had another drive in the second quarter. Just nothing to show for it. A block punt and then 4 and out on the first drive. Destrehan, their issue right now, they have some injuries at key spots. Jackson Fields, starting quarterback, he's out. Shane Ward, starting running back, he's out. So now you got to fill in 2 key spots at quarterback and running back. So right now, Ashai Smith is the quarterback for Destrehan, and his brother, Tony Crump, is the running back right now for Destrehan. So it looks like from what I saw, they're trying to get the ball in their playmakers' hands. Johnny Thiel, Jabari Mack, and Philip Wright. So they're trying to find ways to get the balls in their hands. If it's jet sweeps, screens, quick drag routes, they're trying ways to get them the ball. So it's trying to, I guess, develop chemistry with the new quarterback and the new running back as well.
Man, VK, when you look at this Destrehan team, they've had a lot of players going to college football and be successful. I mean, one in particular is John Emery, winning a national championship, first year out Destrehan. How do you think they fare out this season? Like
Destrehan this season, you could tell the inexperience a little bit, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Still have the quarterback and receivers, but the offensive line, they lost a good bit up front. But at the same time, they have to really build it. That schedule they're playing early is going to really help them tremendously. They really gave it all they had against Catholic, and they had the lead in that ball game and wound up losing in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
So for them, the confidence is going to continue to grow. They got a tough game against Alexandria coming up soon. And I tell you, that is going to really, regardless of win or lose, me and Jared talked about it, it's going to really help them down the line, and especially up front. Defensively, not too bad either, but they just need a little bit of work. But I think Destrehan, they're going to be a type of team that's going to get better middle of the season, and they're going to become dangerous at the end. But the district they're in is going to be a little bit more better and a little more tougher.
Mm-hmm.
So Destrehan is going to have to really earn that district championship this year.
Man, well, fellas, thank y'all so much for coming on the show.
Man,
Appreciate that.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Man, I'm definitely have to try to get y'all on here next week since y'all rolling like that, man. Got to keep y'all over here at the Small Sliders. Well, he's Jared Boyd. He's VK Jones. They are the Hash It Out Show. Make sure y'all follow them on Instagram, baby. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, they live on the evening time, man. It's Inside the Trenches. Y'all don't go anywhere. When we come back, baby, we're going to talk about this LSU South Carolina game. What's going on in Baton Rouge? We getting better, though, man. That's one thing about them Kelly teams. They get better, baby. We at Small Sliders. The rain ain't going to stop us. Come over here and get some dinner with us. It's Inside the Trenches on ESPN New Orleans. Hello, somebody. Well, hello, somebody. It's the host of Inside the Trenches podcast, Marlon Big Favorite.
Now New Orleans has a choice. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app for your mobile device or listen at www.neworleanstalknetwork.com.
Hello, somebody. It's the host of Inside the Trenches podcast, Marlon Big Favorite. Did you know Small Sliders had an app? You can go to your Google Play Store or your Apple Store right now, download the Small Sliders app in Marrero, and order your food right now. You want to get a number 2? Well, slide through 1635 Barataria Boulevard in Marrero. Small Sliders, simple on purpose. Hello, somebody. It's your boy Marlon, Big Favorite. And when I'm hungry, I like to make my way to Small Sliders, 1635 Barataria Boulevard, Marrero, Louisiana. Simple on purpose. When I tell you their burgers are delicious, have some great sauce on them, I'm telling you, when you're just hungry and just need to grab a quick bite, this is the perfect place for you. Small Sliders. The customer service is nice. It's somewhere you can bring the family, hang out and chill, enjoy the atmosphere. Now, I'm a big boy, so when I like to take my Small Sliders, I like to get the biggest smalls. Double patties, bacon, cheese, you name it. Just a delicious burger. And I like to top it off with my favorite, the cookies and cream milkshake. There are 3 delicious flavors: milkshake, chocolate, vanilla, and cookies and cream. Small Sliders. Simple on purpose. Y'all come on and slide through, baby. And let them know that you heard about them on Inside the Trenches with your boy Marlon Big Favorite. Watch out there now.
Step Construction is here for you with a brand new offer. We now provide affordable storage sheds. Stop wasting your money on overpriced storage units and portable containers. Step Construction can provide you with a custom shed that will fit your budget and storage needs. So contact Step Construction today at 504-340-5809 for your own personal quote. Let us help you take the next step.
I wanted to put that in there, man, because it's been a good tackling weekend in Louisiana, right? We weren't able to tackle or get the Charles Haley interview, but we will get it to y'all soon. Sorry about that, the technical difficulties going on at the studio, but everything is good. But, hey, we had Small Sliders, baby, 1635 Barataria Boulevard in Marrero. Feel free to join us. Next week, we'll be out here same time, same place from 6 to 8. Talking sports and entertainment. We're going to get the entertainment back out here, too. When DJ Toon out here, man, I'm telling you, man, people just come out here. So we will definitely have a lot of that information. Shouts out to my man Jared Boyd and VK Jones of the Hash It Out Show. Come and update us on some high school football. If y'all have some high school updates, you're a student athlete or volleyball, football, middle school, send y'all highlights to us. You can send it to me directly at BigFave504 on X. We would love to show y'all some love here on the show and on our social media platforms. That's something we're for certainly excited about. All right, y'all. All right, we talked about the Saints. We're excited about their win. Now it's time to talk about a little bit of LSU versus South Carolina, which was a win. Wasn't the prettiest win, but it was a win. We weren't too happy throughout the course of the game. That wasn't the funnest thing for us, but one thing I did appreciate about the Tigers is that they definitely finished, and that's what matters at the very end of the day. But give us a call, 800-998-1003. I know we're supposed to have my man Sheldon Jordan joining us here soon to talk about his experience. Sheldon went out there to South Carolina, so we would love to get his perspective at y'all's earliest convenience. But I will say this. A lot of the big plays that happened this past weekend against LSU was just defensively players being out of their gaps, right? Like the big, long run that Sanders had, it just so happened to be Whit Weeks was out of his gap. A player that, in my opinion, out of all of our linebackers this year, probably has been the most consistent. He has been consistent not only in the box, but just being in the right place. That was one time he was out of pocket, right? And then, we're still trying to figure it out on the defensive line front. Still trying to figure that out, right? We're trying to put things into perspective of not only, how can I say this? Find the right guys to replace Jacobin Guillory, right? That's something that I feel that's important. He was a big portion on that defensive front, a guy that was holding the middle down in between the gaps, so on and so forth, right? But, truthfully speaking, you look at the numbers, right? Garrett Nussmeier was 24 for 40. He did throw an interception, but 2 touchdowns. He had almost 300 yards passing, right? Now, Lenoir Sellers, he got hurt. He legit got hurt. Lenoir, he did. I was nervous about him and how we was going to figure him and Saunders out. Those two guys, man, they gave us the blues. A lot of players stepped up for LSU, though, right? You look at the play of West Bank's very own Aaron Anderson. 96 yards, 5 receptions. He averaged 19 yards. He averaged 19 yards at 19 yards a catch. A lot of big plays, right? Getting Mason Taylor more involved. Like, he's that X factor, right? Mason Taylor is. Mason Taylor's a player that, when you look at the short intermediate routes, the motioning in the backfield, we talked about that with the Saints earlier. Right? The motioning, throwing off, with sending Foster Moreau in motion, so on and so forth. But if you look at it from the perspective of just the distributing the ball, right? Look at it by numbers. From a passing standpoint, right? We talk about Aaron Anderson and him being effective in the game. We talked about Kyron Lacey, 5 receptions for 63 yards. They were figuring out how they was going to be able. They were figuring out how they were going to be able to get him involved in the game. They really couldn't pretty much hash it out. Shouts out to my boys over there. Hash it out how they was going to get him involved. They did, and one of the plays happened to be a touchdown. Pass, right? The running game. That's something, if y'all look at this LSU game, that's something that they had to figure out piece by piece, right? Did we get Shelton on the line? We got Shelton on the line? Oh, yeah, I know he's trying to call in. But, you know, that's just something that we were trying to figure out piece by piece, right? The running game. You say he's on? All right, we have my man Sheldon Jordan on from the Marquis Crescent City. Sheldon, man, thank you for joining us on Inside the Trenches, man. I can't wait to hear your story, your side of the story from being out there in South Carolina.
Yes, sir. It was good atmosphere, man. South Carolina, the one thing I'll say, you know, I've met a lot of SEC fans from all over. They were probably the nicest fans I've ever met. You know, we had fun in the stands, especially when they were up 17-0. Boy, they knew they had it in the bag. And, you know, I just told them that the game's not over, you know. The game's not over, and Tigers just kept clawing, and got themselves back in the game before the half. And, you know, they made a lot of mistakes, correctable mistakes, especially defensively. Nuss made a couple bad reads and a couple bad throws, but, man, you know, those things happen in a football game. And if you're tough-minded and you continue to just fight and claw, you know, the mental fortitude that this team has, they found a way to win, and that's all that matters. You know, you can look at South Carolina the previous week, and they beat the heck out of Kentucky, and then Georgia had to, you know, claw and scratch to find a way to beat Kentucky 13-12. So it doesn't matter who your opponent is in the SEC. Be ready, be prepared, because you never know what's gonna happen. Those guys are on scholarship as well, and they're getting paid now as well. And you know, so you just gotta take it one game at a time. I think the Tigers, you know, everything is still in front of them. So, you know, they got these next 2 games. They get a bye before Ole Miss. You know, A&M's going to be a tough game. Alabama's going to be a tough game. And then, you know, you close out with Oklahoma. But I think, you know, everything's still in front of them. And perfect place. So, yeah, man, South Carolina it was a lot of fun. I hate that it was a 12 o'clock noon kicking on the East Coast, because, you know, it could have been really fun if it was a night game. We had a great time tailgating. The people I did meet, they're gonna make a return trip next year if South Carolina, if the schedule, you know, I think the schedule has come out that they're gonna come here next year. So
that's correct.
I told them, you know, we'll show them how it's really done next year. And
I can imagine that tailgate was wild.
Oh yeah. Oh, they have fun. They have fun out there. So, yeah.
Well, man, look, man, thank you so much for coming on the show. Sheldon's going to be joining us weekly on here. I did mention Marquis Crescent City. They are a new partner of the show Inside the Trenches here on ESPN New Orleans. So Sheldon's like me. He played college ball. We know we going to the games. We going to be watching them. Might have a little fun on FanDuel. But, man, Sheldon, we'll catch you here next Monday, brother. Thank you so much for giving us your South Carolina wrap-up.
For sure. No problem, man. See you next week.
Peace. Well, it's Inside the Trenches, baby. We got one more segment over here at Small Sliders in Marrero. Yes, indeed. We're streaming live on New Orleans Talk Network right now. Remember, y'all can go to ESPN1003.com for on demand, baby. Inside the Trenches on ESPN New Orleans. Hello.
Make Boomtown New Orleans game day headquarters this football season.
Now New Orleans has a choice. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app for your mobile device or listen at www.neworleanstalknetwork.com.
Hello, somebody. It's the host of Inside the Trenches podcast, Marlon Big Fave Favorite. Did you know Small Sliders had an app? You can go to your Google Play Store or your Apple Store right now, download the Small Sliders app in Marrero, and order your food right now. You want to get a number 2? Well, slide through. 1635 Barataria Boulevard in Marrero. Small sliders, simple on purpose. Hello, somebody. It's your boy Marlon, big favorite. And when I'm hungry, I like to make my way to Small Sliders. 1635 Barataria Boulevard, Marrero, Louisiana. Simple on purpose. When I tell you their burgers are delicious, have some great sauce on them, I'm telling you, when you're just hungry and just need to grab a quick bite, this is the perfect place for you. Small Sliders. The customer service is nice. It's somewhere you can bring the family, hang out and chill, enjoy the atmosphere. Now I'm a big boy, so when I like to take my Small Sliders, I like to get the biggest smalls. Double patties, bacon, cheese, you name it. Just a delicious burger. And I like to top it off with my favorite, the cookies and cream milkshake. There are 3 delicious flavors: milkshake, chocolate, vanilla, and cookies and cream. Small Sliders. Simple on purpose. Y'all come on and slide through, baby. And let them know that you heard about them on Inside the Trenches with your boy Marlon, big favorite. Watch out there now.
Step Construction is here for you with a brand new offer. We now provide affordable storage sheds. Stop wasting your money on overpriced storage units and portable containers. Step Construction can provide you with a custom shed that will fit your budget and storage needs. So contact Step Construction today at 504-340-5809 for your own personal quote. Let us help you take the next step at Step Construction.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at...
That's what I tell you. Gotta give him his props. I like that, baby. We jamming over here. Yes, indeed. Inside the Trenches. Every Monday right here at Small Sliders, 6 to 8 p.m. Yes, indeed. We inside the trenches. Legit. You know, talking Saints, LSU, Tulane. Got to get some more of my Tulane folks over here. A couple of my beat writers. Shouts out to the Hash It Out show. They came on, talked to the high school football. That's my pleasure. Love that high school football. It is great. Y'all know what other kind of football I like? And y'all can feel free to call me this last 15 minutes if y'all want to. If y'all want to come get y'all a burger as well, you could do that. I know my guys over there enjoying their sandwiches. But we're still here, 1635 Barataria Boulevard in Marrero, Louisiana, right here at the Small Sliders Marrero. Shouts out to the crew over here hooking us up with the biggie. Biggie, baby. Yes, indeed. Shouts out to the crew over here. And in addition to that, I want to tell you I want to talk to you guys like this, right? Who do I sound like right now? Could you take a wild guess? Tell you, he's affiliated with the Tigers. I want to talk some fantasy football. Hey, tweet me at BigFave504. I've done that a couple times before. Can you guess who that was? I was trying to sound a little bit like. I'm telling you, he's affiliated with the Tigers. All right, so I want to go around the NFL, and what better way to go around the NFL but on my fantasy football app. Now, as a player, I wasn't really too much of a fantasy football fan. I felt like it's not real. It's fantasy football. But that was me not even trying to educate myself on how fun this is, right? You know, I'm in two of my fantasy football teams I'm on is family. One of them is family friends. It's fun, you know. I had my son, little Marlon, coming up to me the other day, Kansas. He was like, "Oh, that almost won, man, but Patrick Mahomes didn't get as many points as I thought he was going to get." I said, yeah, he got me in one of my leagues too. It's just all the fun, man. You got to believe it. You got to love it. So this weekend I went against, I won't embarrass him. This is my cousin. I'll just say his name, GM of the year. And I thought the matchups were pretty good. Dak Prescott went head-to-head with Baker Mayfield. Dak had 18 points. Baker had 21. B. Robinson, Brian Robinson from Washington, I knew he was going to be. See, I ain't going to lie to y'all. Just a little tip for y'all who out there. Y'all might be first-time fantasy players, second, third year. You hadn't won yet. I got me a win in, baby. I've been doing it for several years, and I did get 1 year in. But you want to kind of get those guys, it's a rookie quarterback. His running backs are going to see a lot of action. So, yeah, B-Rob got me 15. Mixon only got him 5. You think Mixon going to perform. He had Jay Mason from the 49ers, 19. I had Gibbs. He had 10. Detroit lost, but, Gibbs is going to do his thing. Justin Jefferson, who did get injured in the game. He's questionable for this week, but he had 26 of them things. Y'all saw Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold out there, boy. He ain't seeing ghosts no more, huh? He out there throwing bombs. Shouts out to the person who ever drafted Sam Darnold. Boy, they getting points they ain't never thought they were going to get drafted. That boy, he's sitting on the bench himself, right? Amari St. Brown, he had 13 points, versus, so Jets head-to-head took him out. Now, Garrett Wilson, somebody I thought Aaron Rodgers was going to be a little more active with this weekend. He only had 6 fantasy points. By numbers, he was targeted 6 times in receptions. He had 4, 57, 1 attempt, rushed 5 yards. So, like I said, he had his normal targets, but he wasn't, they wouldn't 15 yards or plus. And y'all feel free to, again, tweet me at BigFave504, or y'all can call in 800-998-1003. Once again, the question of the day is, are the Saints really that good, or are the Dallas Cowboys really that bad, right? That's the question of the day. Are the Dallas Cowboys that bad? And I did answer that question. I did answer it. I said the Saints are that good because I think Dallas is good, right? So it's a good team got beat by a very good team early in the season. But part of my answer to my answer was, here's a team who has a new offensive coordinator. This is Coach Kubiak's first time as an offensive coordinator, and let's be honest, he's handling his business exceptionally well. And then you have his system, the Shanahan tree system, that is ran with these guys. So we saw these plays being ran with Christian McCaffrey. It's the great debate between Christian McCaffrey and Alvin Kamara. We've seen, Deebo Samuel, Kittle, and all those guys be beneficiaries of this elite offense. It took them to the Super Bowl. All right, Shanahan's went to the Super Bowl, 3 times in the last 2 years? Last 5-6 years? So, that's worth taking a look at, right? So I pay attention to things like that. I also pay attention to not only the production, like little quiet stuff like Eric McCoy, 2 weeks in a row, let's take it inside the trenches. 2 weeks in a row grading out 90 percentile. That's big. That's worth being noted. I did have a healthy scratch on that was my bench, so I was good on my. But anyway, I won. I won in all 3 leagues. I'm happy about it. Still got some football to play tonight. I don't know if y'all ESPN betting tonight. That would be a great idea if you are. Right? Some cool games to look at. Let's take a look at the NFL's scoreboard going into this week. Of course, you have the game tonight that is actually going on right now. I'm trying to get y'all an update on that game. Atlanta is taking on Philly, which is good for the Saints, right? Because, short week for them. Then you got to come to New Orleans. Pay attention to that. I think that's a good thing. Just had this game up. I guess my internet going a little slow. But I hope y'all are, traveling home safely. Y'all had a really nice Monday. We had somewhat of a stressful week last week, with the weather. But, hey, we survived. We good. It is all good. Why can't I find this? So I'm still trying to pull up the boards for y'all because I'm in the wrong week. That's how you do it sometimes, right? So the Falcons have the ball. It is the first quarter. So far, Kirk Cousins has 37 yards. Saquon Barkley, 5 carries for 47 yards. They moving the ball. They're moving the ball right now. Who y'all got? Who y'all think will win this one? Eagles or Atlanta? Kenzie, who you got? Kenzie going with them Eagles. Fly, Eagle, fly. They take on the Saints next week. Who you think got Atlanta or the Eagles? Most Saints fans rooting for the Eagles because they play them this week. No, I said, right, the game that's going on right now, Atlanta playing Philly right now. Yeah, that game right now, 12 minutes into the second quarter, nobody scored yet. All right. Drake London, he's involved, 2 receptions for 50 yards. Bijan Robinson, 6 carries for 35 yards. I'm betting those 2 should score touchdowns, right? Atlanta's got the ball right now. But that's an interesting matchup, right? I like this whole I like it when it's the NFC East versus the NFC South because, I mean, sure to travel for the players, but it does say a lot. You know, it's good down south football for the most part. Yeah, this NFC South is interesting, y'all. It really is because going into the season, most beat writers, television personalities, sports personalities, oh, man, the NFC South is going to be the worst division in football. And they're looking like one of the better. I mean, you got 2 teams Atlanta's playing tonight. We'll see if they pull off a win, right? But they 0-1, potentially be 0-2, right? Philly won in Brazil last week on a sloppy field. You know, big Jalen Carter was anchoring things down in the middle. That's another thing, too. This Philadelphia's defensive line is a little more physical than the Dallas Cowboys front line. So that's something to look forward to next week. You know, when you start looking at key matchups, I think that's worth paying attention to. Another thing, you know, which Jalen Hurts are you going to get? You know, obviously they lost their all-pro center and Kelsey, so, you know, it's replacing that guy, right? But, you know, some more updates. It's on ESPN. Shouts out to ESPN, right? 11 minutes and 22 seconds left in the second quarter. You have Jalen Hurts so far. He's 5 for 8, 34 yards. Right now they're going with the run game. You're seeing a little bit of Hurts. Hurts has 5 yards rushing. Of course, Saquon, who's, boy, when you start talking about guys socking it to teams, right? Like Sam Darnold. Look how he's performing over there. How you think the Jets feel about him? Baker Mayfield, same story, right? The way he's performing. I mean, think about that, y'all. Is it sometimes, is it the team, right? Some players do better on other teams, right? It's a coaching a lot of times. That plays a major role. Well, it's Inside the Trenches. I want to thank y'all so much for joining me on the show. Shout out to our guests calling in, Joe Picolo from Godwyn Realty. Shout out to the Hash It Out pod for joining us here on the show. We'll be back here at Small Sliders, y'all. That's right, 1635 Barataria Boulevard in Marrero. We'll be back 6 to 8 right here on ESPN New Orleans, baby. That is for sure. And look, check this out. If y'all didn't get the opportunity to yet, right, make sure you go to your phone, right, type in 942-253. Again, that number is 94253. And text the word Big Fav, BIGFAV, right, to get on exclusive Hot List festivals. I got a couple shows coming up in October. I told Mario and them earlier that, you know, we're going to let them know what was going on with that. But, yeah, man, shouts out to, you know, my boy, like I said, Joe for calling in. I know that my main man CL was on the road, right? But, man, big win for the Saints. So much coming out. It's a good weekend in Louisiana. It was one of them happy Mondays, right? One of them Mondays that had our folks all excited. And we're going to bring that same energy throughout the week. I look forward to it. LSU takes on UCLA. They're coming off a big win. Saints play Philly at home, right? Tulane is continuing to get their season rolling, right? Nickel State, they coming off a loss. They got to keep things going. But that's right, baby. It's Inside the Trenches right here on ESPN New Orleans, 100.3 FM. Y'all stay tuned. We got some more stuff coming up for y'all here on ESPN. We're going back to Boomtown, Penn Entertainment. We're also making our way back out to Bay St. Louis, baby. Going to enjoy ourselves out there at the Hollywood casinos. And remember, y'all can check out my album, Lover, streaming right now on musical platforms. Be sure to check out the Hash It Out Show pod, New Orleans Talk Network. If y'all missed the show, you can always go to the YouTube. Shout out to everybody who commented, baby. It's Inside the Trenches on ESPN New Orleans. Hello.
Are you looking for wheels, but you need it at a reasonable price? Look no further.